Well, good Thursday morning, and thank you so much for joining us. I'm Baylor Rodman.
And I'm Ellis Chandler, and today for Ashlyn Deloe, you're watching ELN Morning. The SGA student body president for the next academic year has been elected.
That's right. Nadine Jose received 55% of the students' vote. She's from Freehold, New Jersey, sounds familiar, and is a rising senior majoring in cinema and television arts.
The president-elect joins us now.
Nadine, good morning to you. Freehold, New Jersey, in the house today.
It is indeed.
I'm going to start by saying, obviously, I have been a senator on SGA for the past 3 years. We worked together a little bit, so obviously I have some insight in some of the things we're going to discuss today. But I want to kind of just start with the obvious. So congratulations, first of all, on your victory. We're happy to have you here this morning. But I have to ask, you know, less than a third of the campus voted in this year's election. So respectfully, why should students care that you're the next president-elect?
Yeah, I mean, I've mentioned it before to ELN, but I think a huge reason is just that I'm breaking a pattern that has been happening for 4 years, in which a predominantly female campus has had 4 concurrent male leaders. Not to say that they've done a bad job by any means, but I think a shift does mean something. I think when you see someone who you identify with a little bit more interpersonally, it can make a huge difference in how you perceive SGA and hopefully how you interact with SGA. I'm involved in a lot of groups from the Center of Race, Ethnicity, and Diversity Education, Residence Life. I work with a lot of different communities all the time, and hopefully like those groups that typically feel underserved feel like in this election at least that they could participate a little bit more and hopefully understand what SGA has to do for them and can do for them a little bit more as well.
Sure.
And this is the first time the undergraduate student body has elected a female SGA president in the last kind of 4 years or so. How does it feel to kind of be that representative?
It feels really good. It feels really relieving to know that the student body trusts me and that they believe I could do a good job for them, hopefully regardless of my gender, but also because my gender's strengthening it. Like I said before, it is a predominantly female campus, and you want to be able to know that there's a leader there who is constantly advocating for you and aligns with you.
Yeah, so we have a student soundbite. Somebody's asking a question about club sports, so let's take a listen to that.
Yeah.
Will funding stay the same for club sports, and also with COVID in club sports, how is that going to change with the new non-mask policy? Do we still have to get COVID tested and all these restrictions?
Anything you can share on that to answer some student questions?
Personally, I would have to talk with obviously like Dean P and like Healthy Elon and all of those people in order to not spread misinformation and know that I'm giving them like adequate information. I've talked with a couple people from like Club Lacrosse before, and like I've heard some of their concerns, and all of them are completely valid, and hopefully I could just work with people who may not typically be in SGA otherwise and help them in those endeavors, yeah.
Sure.
And in our last conversation, you mentioned kind of wanting to improve the student experience, which includes things like free laundry costs.
Yeah.
How do you plan to do that, especially when tuition and fees are seeing a 9% increase next year?
Yeah, absolutely. I think laundry cost is already free for some people on campus. It's really just the luck of the draw. I lived in Danley my freshman year, and I was able to share one laundry unit for free, use it all the time, and only between 8 people. And then if you get placed in historic, I'm an RA in historic currently, I still have to pay for my laundry, even though I work for the university. And I think it's just such a small thing that heightens socioeconomic discrepancy on this campus. And I think it's not that much. I feel like that it's costing the university. I'm not really sure where those dollars go to besides like the maintenance of the laundry machines, in which that should already be, there should already be a budget in there for that. So I would have to work with obviously Janet Williams, John Dooley about those things, and just hopefully show them how much of a problem it is and how, while it may seem small, it can be significant to a student experience.
So I'll tell you, I'll be honest, we were asking a bunch of student questions that they wanted to ask you, and a lot of them didn't necessarily want to come on camera because they said, we don't really totally know what SGA does.
Yeah.
And I know that this is a visibility issue that, has been for numerous years. How are you going to fix that?
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about this for a really long time in SGA, and I don't know if we've pushed hard enough on just getting into Elon 101 classes and global experience classes and heightening our visibility, especially during orientation. I think it really starts off at the beginning of the freshman experience, because once there, you will hopefully keep up with it or at least have that base knowledge. I also think just making sure that my office hours are more visible, having one-on-one meetings, trying to be more present around campus. Like I said before, I'm already involved in so many different groups that I think that is an extension of hopefully how I could represent SGA and what SGA does. I think it's really hard. A lot of it does have to be like a social media push, talking with like deans or even like people who could send out mass emails, which is hard because not everyone reads the mass emails. So I just would hope that the representatives in SGA work really hard and push really hard to tell anyone they know what we can do for them.
All right.
All right. Nadine, Jose, live with us in studio this morning. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
And you take over 1 week from today, correct?
Yes, Lambert Awards are next week, and that is when I get sworn in.
All right. Sounds good. Well, thank you so much for being here.